Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Toonkind at 12 FPS. I am Oatmeal, and today I will be playing the Professor, a time-traveling spaceman who had a very rough time during the events of the game Red, White, and Rose. This FPS follows those events, and you should check out the content warnings, please. Now, with me today is
Hi, I'm Candlestick. I was not involved in the Red, White, Rose game, but I did listen to them and have a lot of fun doing so. So would definitely recommend once you've checked out the warnings and think it's a good fit for you. I'm playing Dr. Crystal Everlight, who is very tired of all of the shenanigans that her friends get into, and is here to do some checkups following the events of that.
Yep. So, uh, after the events of Red, White, and Rose, or the affectionately known as the vampire game, but not the other one that Draft House ran, um, the Fletch vampire game, um, the crew let the Aberration Investigator chat know roughly what happened. Hey, vampires happened, but we're all okay and we're home now. Sorry, spoilers. But but Crystal specifically was like, okay, let me know if you want me to come check out your bites. And the
Hmm.
professor was reluctant. He did not want to get checked up on, but Moria, honestly, Azumi probably got Moria into it, and then Moria affectionately bullied the professor into agreeing. So the DM that the private message that the professor would have sent begrudgingly at Moria's request is in response to if she should come to Villestown to check on them. Please do. Camille may see his physician instead, but Ari and I could use a check. You can find me in the red phone box a few buildings south of the Layton household. You can't miss it. It's the only real kind structure on the block.
It's definitely um like she will read that twice like phone booth. But I don't think she's gonna comment on it because right now um right now is not the appropriate time to bring up that, especially because she's sort of in business mode.
Mm-hmm.
So probably would just shoot back something along the lines of uh, I'll be here around this time if that's all right, if that works for you, that sort of thing.
Yeah, he'll send an affirmative. Yeah.
Um, yeah. So I'm guessing probably maybe not early morning, but like medium early morning. She will head to Villestown and
Mm-hmm.
uh. Do you want me to roll anything to see if she finds the phone box or
Uh,
because I actually don't know if she's ever been to the Layton household.
oh, I guess survival for navigation.
Oh, good fun.
Yeah, I'm sure she has a fantastic. Well, it depends what her wisdom is.
I think it's not the best, but not the worst either.
Mm-hmm. You're a
Oh dear.
intelligence caster, if I remember right.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's not. What
Oh
did you
dear, that's
get?
that's not great. You got a
Oh
5.
no! Oh
I think
my
she's maybe halfway
gosh.
there before she realizes I don't know where the Leighton household is.
Oh my god. Um, what is she gonna do?
Ah, hmm.
Presumably
I
she
think,
has her plot device.
yeah, I think she might, honestly, like probably spend, how stubborn is she gonna be? Like, I'm gonna roll a whiz to see how long it takes her before she pulls out her plot device and decides she can't do this by herself.
uh,
Okay, well that was a nat 20, so
oh.
it's probably like 5-10 minutes after she's arrived, she's like gotten to the painted lady and just like I have no idea where I'm going. And then just like pulls it out and probably if I needed more directions, where would it be in terms of from the painted lady?
uh, he would write out some directions. Um, Easy to follow, if a bit eccentric. You know, like instead of road, north south road, turn here. It's like landmark based.
Hmm.
Like the store with the big potato on top, or like uh,
Yeah.
go round the fountain or something like that.
Yeah, just reminding me of an instruction I once gave one of my friends growing up, which was turn right at the orange restaurant,
Mm.
and they were like, I don't know if they meant like there's an orange on top or it is orange or it's called orange, and it was like all three.
Oh man.
I'm gonna say she probably doesn't need to roll another survival with the instructions,
Yeah.
just to be kind to her.
Yeah, we used to have one. I can no longer dox myself with this one because it's gone. But the one of our instructions used to be blah blah blah, and turn left at the Spider-Man sign in front of the church.
Ah, that's a great one.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, so I guess she's found the phone box and well, she's gonna knock on the door because she doesn't enter places without permission.
Mm-hmm. Um. There's a brief pause, and then the professor opens the door. Hello, Crystal.
Professor, it's good to see you, even if I will admit, circumstances aren't the best.
Hmm. He just sort of gives like a no shit sort of smile, like, yeah, no kidding. Um, uh, and backs off from the door and says, would you come inside?
Uh, Thanks. Yeah, she's just gonna follow Professor in. She is very curious about the phone booth, but
Mm-hmm.
is not commenting yet.
Yep. Well, there sure is a kind of technologically advanced, like, console in the middle of this room, um, with some, like, wacky decorating on the walls. It's, like, sparse, but very weird. Um, and it seems like the professor had been at the console. There's a book there, um, sort of like teetering on one of the edges. Um, of the like different hexagonal panels, and there's a keyboard.
Hmm. Right. I think she's maybe less um I mean, obviously the space is also like much larger on the inside than the outside.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's the thing that's got her attention more than the technological space because
Mm-hmm.
um tunes have varying levels of that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it is sort of strange that it's all real kind. But yeah, no, there's just nothing like you definitely see her look between like the door and the room and just the what kind of trying to pass it
Mm-hmm.
before like no no now is not the time for that.
Yeah, yeah. Nope. Roughly 4 by 4 from the outside, roughly 30 by 30 on the inside. At least for the console room. There is yet more. Which the professor reveals when he presses a button on the console, and the inner doors open up, revealing a hallway.
Yeah, I think at this point she might actually comment the this this is a very impressive uh structure. The um well, I'm magic, I would assume some sort of pocket dimension. Very
Mostly.
potent. Um, th is this your place?
Uh, yes.
Hmm. It's yes, it's very impressive.
Thank
It
you.
there's like this she kind of wants to ask more, but also that is extremely rude.
Mm-hmm. He
So,
does seem flattered though.
yeah.
Um, probably best, probably best if we use the med bay. Um, and he'll just sort of gesture for her to follow. Um, and they don't actually have very long to go. They just pass a couple doors until he chooses one and goes inside.
Yep. Yeah. She'll follow along. I think there will be something. She'll say something along the lines of like, yes, that would probably be helpful. I don't actually have a lot of the equipment myself, so that will be useful."
Mm-hmm. So yeah, the med bay is a. Well, let's see. You could roll perception if you like.
Oh, yes, I'd like that. Okay. That shouldn't be too bad because I upped her modifier recently. Still, still average.
Okay, yeah, a 13. It is a big, uh, mostly white room with, white and sort of some pastels, and with a variety of medical equipment in here. Much of it technologically advanced. Like for real kind, it would be like at least Yiddish in nature.
Hmm.
Most of it, Yiddish or Forsananian with their Magitech. It is clean. It is tidy, but there are a few signs that it gets regular use, you know? There's a few things maybe slightly out of place. Um,
Yeah, somehow that fact doesn't surprise Crystal, considering what she knows of the professor.
mm-hmm,
Um, I think she will actually comment on the state of technology though.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, again, something along the lines of this is very advanced for real kind.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Um, yeah, if like yeah, like again, it's one of those moments of the she definitely wants to ask more, but
Mm-hmm,
again, she's not here. Like she's here on a like professional level. She's got a job to do,
mm-hmm.
so she's gonna like there's like that like moment of like I want to ask more before like no, okay, and is um going to like get into like serious work mode kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm gonna figure out what she's gonna say because she's probably going to like start um you know um
Yeah, I will say for
yeah,
the layout,
discussing the
there's like there's cabinets and counters and like a cot and various uh, chairs and stuff that you would sort of find in a sort of multi-purpose medical facility. And there is
yeah,
also,
okay.
even with a 13, very, it's out of place. You can notice it. There is a first aid kit that is distinctly Toonish. It is Ghiblian in nature, in fact.
Hmm, interesting.
Yeah.
um huh, I think yeah, she might probably despite the fact that this is the professor's abode
Mm-hmm.
and and stuff, she is still gone into professional mode, so I think she will like gesture to the professor to sit and then will like start like grabbing looking for things that she thinks she'll need.
Yeah.
Probably will um hesitate and then get the Toon first aid kit because despite the fact that he is real kind,
Mm-hmm.
she's more familiar with Toon first aid kits.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, and probably going to um give a little bit of like a rundown of things because yeah, like this is what she does when she works.
Yeah.
And yeah, doesn't know the level of knowledge from patients. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, something along the lines of, um, well, the good news about vampire bites is that generally they don't give any lingering magical effects, but that does still leave a lot of the physical effects that particularly are common to real kind, things like infection, both bloodborne and bacterial, as well as blood loss effects. So we'll need to check how severe the bite is, as well as any signs of infection in it. How have you been feeling? Dizziness, nausea, any sort of confusion?
He does sit down. Um, some dizziness. I wasn't sure how much you'd know about real kind, actually.
I, it's limited compared to my knowledge of tunes, I will admit, but I did spend a few years in Furuma, as you
Hmm.
already know, looking at the differences between tunes and real kind. Technically, the physical side of things is also not really my area of expertise, but you kind of have to have a baseline level of knowledge to be able to pick out what is not normal anyway.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
He's let's see, he's not wearing his hat. Uh, he'll take off his scarf and just kind of uh, bundle it up and put it to the side. There's a lot of it. Um, and yeah, he'll shrug out of his coat and put that back over the chair. Um, uh, unbutton the collar of his shirt and just sort of like show like where he's got um the bite, and it is bandaged, but it's a rough job, not least because it's hard to bandage. It's hard to like
Mm.
clean, treat, and bandage a wound that you can't see without a mirror. And even if he had like help from Azumi or Camille, uh, they're not medics.
Yeah, yeah.
So like it's
I think
effective, but yeah, not pretty.
mm, yeah, I think she's gonna give the like bandaging, I think, a look over first and just well, it's good to see that it's at least been treated since the incident.
Mm-hmm.
You cleaned it out and um
Mm-hmm.
anything else you did?
Yes, made sure to clean it up. Honestly, didn't apply a whole lot to it. Um, just sort of made sure that it was in a state well enough to heal. I don't think needs stitches. I mean, it's a fairly straightforward puncture wound. Um, and, well, the bruising will just go away with time.
Mm, yeah. She's nodding along to that, like, yep, that all sort of checks out. And I think she might actually comment, well, I'm glad even if it did need stitches that you didn't attempt to do that by yourself, or with the others. That is not the best thing if you don't have any surgical skills.
That would have been difficult.
Um, yeah, and I think she's gonna just may I to the like pull back the like bandaging.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he'll nod affirmative and just sort of like, you know, uh, he'll probably have to pull his hair out of the way.
Fair enough. I mean, she might be uh yeah, I think she gonna I should roll hammer space for that. Where is my there you are. Yep, all right, that's a 9. Pulls goes into her hammer space, which is her bag, and pulls out a hairband if he wants.
Oh yes, he'll take that. Thank you. Been a long time since I carried these. And he'll put his hair up into a sort of very bushy ponytail.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't even know if that counts as a whatever.
I
It's
can
a
see
poof.
exactly what you mean.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and she's gonna unwrap it, and I suppose that I should roll a medicine, huh?
Yeah. I think that'd be a good idea.
Huh. All right. Average roll, but this is one of her good ones, so doesn't
Hmm.
matter that I rolled a 10, that's still an 18.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It sure is a vampire bite. Uh. It is a fairly neat bite. And aside from the two fangs, you can see the marks from the other teeth, but they don't, go nearly as deep. Um,
Mm, mm.
So there's two very prominent marks that have obviously been where most of the blood is coming from, and then a few, a few other marks, and then honestly probably a faint impression of the like lower set of teeth on the other side of his neck with some bruising. And there's a few like random scratches, probably from claws, but they're very minor.
Mm, yeah. Okay. I think she will relay that the so it looks like only the two fangs have broken through the skin. Bruising, no indication yet of any sort of more serious infection, and definitely doesn't require any sort of surgery from the position that you got bitten in. So that's at least a good sign. Have you disinfected the scratches?
Um, as many as I could uh, find, yes.
All right. And are you up to date with tetanus shots and hepatitis shots as well?
Uh, let me. Oh, Professor. Um, all right, let me pull this. That is a. God. That's a 10 on his deception. Um, he says, sure.
Do you want me to roll an insight on that?
Probably, because that's a terrible, terrible deception.
Oh, fantastic. Yep. That's 12.
Ugh, yeah.
He's lying.
Yeah, he's lying.
Okay. It's just this, like, kind of, like, deadpan look and just, Professor, this is serious. Um, the, I'm just trying to figure out what she's gonna say. Um, the lasting effects from things like an encounter with a vampire is not something to be taken lightly, especially since you have already indicated that the vampire did, in fact, bite multiple people, which means that there definitely would have been a transfer of blood from one target to the other, which means that these sort of things could be important in order to make sure that you don't develop any further serious conditions from it.
The reason I haven't been inoculated thusly is because of contraindications. The vaccines that were available did not. Uh, they weren't compatible.
What do you mean by that?
Well, whenever we would try them, they just wouldn't work right. For me, specifically.
I think she's gonna I'm not gonna roll anything here because I think she is going to make a wrong assumption
Oh
of
no.
well, I know that the two I know that real kind aren't as common in this continent, but things are available for them. I'm sure I can get access to some if you need it.
No, uh, that's not. Hmm. He just sort of like puts his chin in his hand. He's trying to like think. Um, that's not exactly the problem. Isn't that they're available? The problem is that um, the uh, solutions prepared for um, the average humanoid don't quite work well um, on me.
Oh, good. I uh there's a sort of like a sigh from her, and she's just gonna rub like her hands down her face, and then um is this a magical or uh biological issue, and is it uh genetic um or occurred during your lifetime?
Biological and genetic.
I All right, I will be honest, that's kind of generally outside of my area of expertise. So, I do you
I'm
know if you're, I don't know, able to obtain these infections then in the first place if the vaccines don't work?
um I've proven to be, I travel a fair bit and I'm fairly active. Um I've proven to be fairly resistant to most things. As a matter of fact, I haven't actually gotten sick at all since arriving in the continent, with no preparation.
Um, yeah, there's kind of like another one of those like looks of the I God damn it. All right, fine. Kind of like look like um well, I suppose that's something to be grateful for. Um, all right. Just gonna move on from that for now. Um, I think because I think it would be kind of funny. Because like check the vaccines and stuff is like, all right, next thing to check for is anemia. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, is probably going to want to check like for signs of blood loss. So, things like just a little bit of like coordination, but also how things like blood pressure and heart rate. So,
Mm-hmm. So what do you want to start with?
um, I mean, probably the easiest thing would be like coordination first. Like, do you feel dizzy? Can you do like um like I don't actually know this part very well, but
Mm.
like can you walk in a straight line? Can you
Yeah, that's actually
touch
not
your
a
toes
bad.
without falling over? Things like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. I am going to uh roll. Uh, let's see. I'm gonna roll this at disadvantage actually. Well, um, let's see. What is my uh Or is that... What's my mod? Yeah. Um... So, on a con save, he rolls an 11, and so he gets up very quickly, and, collapses to the floor and does not, manages to not hit his head on the counter or the chair.
Uh,
So he's just sort of, like, on his knees, looking kind of dazed, because he just fainted, basically.
yeah. Crystal's gonna go, well, that's definitely one in the blood loss category. You are definitely still feeling the effects of that. I'm feeling like she should roll something to help the professor up, but also her strength is garbage.
Yeah. He just sort of like puts a hand to his forehead and he says, and his other hand he just sort of like waves like, no, hang on, just give me a second. I'll just take a second for the room to stop moving.
Yes, I'm going to recommend that you only do light physical work for the next week, probably, in order to make sure you don't overdo it and potentially collapse.
Hmm. Probably for the best. Um, and he just sort of like, after like a bit, he's able to get back into the chair. Um, he does look kind of markedly pale.
Yeah, yeah, that's very fair. So I think probably following that, like that's definitely gonna spur her into, okay, I definitely need to check your blood pressure and your heart rate because that's not mild blood loss symptoms. That tends to be stuff that happens with the more serious blood loss.
Mm.
So those are the things that could be like have an effect on. So yeah, I guess whichever thing is within reach of her first, whether it's the blood pressure cuff or stethoscope, I guess.
You want to roll a d2?
Yeah, sure. Um, one for the cuff and two for the stethoscope. All right, guess it's the stethoscope that she's gonna grab. Probably out of the the tune kit.
Mm-hmm.
I'd imagine they'd have one in there. Yeah.
Probably.
So yeah, she's pulled that out and has probably said like something along the lines of what I did before of like I need to check this because that's definitely a higher blood loss case. We need to make sure that your blood pressure and your heart rate are normal. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
He
does what
he
does the professor want to do?
he kind of just looks at the stethoscope, uh, and like his face is kind of blank, like, shoot, like, shoot, like, no, hang on, I didn't think this far ahead. Why didn't I think this far ahead? Probably the blood loss. Um, um, right, okay. He's just kind of, gonna try and sit up straight and, like, look away, and he seems very awkward.
Do you want me to roll an insight? Because I feel like this could be funny whichever way it goes.
Yeah.
That's a 10.
Oh my god. Hmm. Um. With a 10, yeah, if you wanna actually, yeah, Fletch says roll again, actually, is probably good just because 10 is very milk toast. Um,
Yeah, I'll roll again.
this is Toonkind. We like big numbers or small numbers, but not 10.
I rolled a 9.
Okay.
I'm thinking maybe she gets that the professor is uncomfortable, but has absolutely like no idea why. Like, of course, like people don't exactly find this sort of thing particularly enjoyable, especially as toons.
Mm. Yeah, that could be it. Um, yeah.
Or I could roll again.
Either way.
Yeah. I'm just gonna let that go, I think.
Okay,
I
okay.
did roll twice and the dice said the
Yeah,
10
yeah.
and 9, so yeah, she's picking up that the professor's uncomfortable, wildly off base as to why.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Um, so yeah, she's going to um, yeah, put it up against where someone's normal heart would be. Um, and
Yeah.
do I need to roll anything for this or?
Um, I mean, you've got a stethoscope. Like, I'm gonna count that as uh, like that would probably give you an advantage for whatever you did roll. So, like,
Ah.
um, uh,
Well, I rolled a
18 in medicine
um
earlier.
yeah.
Um, I mean, if you want to roll medicine again, you can figure out just how much you're able to find out from this.
Yeah, okay.
Because I can give you more based on how high you roll, I guess. Like, you're going to hear something weird
Oh.
regardless.
Oh, okay. I rolled really well on that.
Ooh. Whoa. Oh, wow. That's a
Oh,
27. It's
yeah.
very close to a nat 20. Okay. Yeah, so you put it where a normal heart would typically be, and uh, you hear a heartbeat, but it's got an echo question mark, um, and not like no, it's almost exactly like um, in between the beats, uh, like doubled, and it's like you're hearing something else aside from like what you're immediately like listening to through the blah 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 stethoscope. Um, Apart from that, it's uh, if you're trying to parse it as a single heartbeat, it sounds a bit fast, um, but not like alarmingly so. Just like, well, yeah,
Hmm.
blood loss kind of makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. Um, so definitely filing that piece of information away for like bringing up once she's figured out what the hell is up with this echo.
Yeah,
Um,
she's probably gonna have to
and
move the thing.
yeah, yeah, she probably does move it around a little bit just to see how that affects the sound. Move it off the heart a little bit
Mm-hmm.
in the different directions, see how that affects it. Does it disappear? What sort of thing does that happen to?
Yes, it does not. disappear. But she's able to sort of like focus in on one where it's very strong, but you can hear the echo of the other one. And then the weirdest part is that as you move away from the heart, the other sound, if you're listening to it like continuously, like the echo starts to sound stronger until you're on the other side of the sternum, and like the echo has taken over as a prominent, like clear as a heartbeat, and the other one is as its echo. And hang on, hey, hello. If you go in the middle, it's very like da 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 da. Hey, hello. This is what? There's two hearts. Uh,
Yeah, yeah, she's gonna pull back and then just like sort of like not look at anything for a couple of moments and then look up at the professor and why does it sound like you have two hearts?
he is like pointedly not looking at her. Looks very awkward. Um, he just sort of like, well, it might be the case that I have two hearts.
Um, the look Crystal just handed me was just the like probably actually most similar to the title card, just the kind of just and you didn't think this was relevant information because
um, I thought I'd be I thought I'd be more present and able to uh, sort of bullshit my way through this, but then I but then I got up and fainted, and my head's fuzzy, and I can't charisma right now.
just the another deadpan stare and oh God, I can't like I don't know how she's reacting to this because on the one hand she's just like she wants to be like, all right, explain now, and also like another part of her wants to just like stand up and leave.
Mm-hmm.
So I just think, yeah, you get like this like probably like this wordless like gesture of arms everywhere.
Mm-hmm. Uh, look, I wouldn't have asked you over here except Moria made me.
Look, this isn't going to work if you don't want my help or me to find certain things. And I I'll be honest, I will not be particularly happy from a professional point of view if you decide that you don't want me to help you with this. But I also cannot force you to uh to tell me private things about yourself, which is relevant for a medical checkup if that is something you're not comfortable with. So, do you want me to help you or do you want me to leave?
Uh, he just sort of, like, looks pensive and, taps his foot and is just, like, very slightly frustrated, but, he sighs and he goes, I would appreciate your help, but you won't tell anyone?
I tend to take patient privacy very seriously. I spent many years keeping secrets from my own family. Um, I won't, no one will ever get any of that information out of me if I can so help it.
He he looks at Crystal very seriously for a few moments and then nods and says, "Well, um, hmm, how do I start?" Yes, 2 hearts. Uh, I. It's not the only thing. Um, I'm not human.
Hmm. Yes, think I might have gathered that much from the 2 hearts.
Right. So, the problem is, um, uh, what I am doesn't. We don't. Uh, I am by myself, and I don't have access to care that's tailored to my specific needs, so I've had to make do with things designed for other humanoids, depending. Humans, elves, half elves. Really just depends what the issue at hand is. Um, I, uh, most, uh, let's see, basic first aid, mostly the same. Anything more advanced than that, and it doesn't really work on me. For example, those vaccines you mentioned. Uh, I'm I'm not immune to those, but I certainly have a higher resistance than the average humanoid, just at a base level. Fairly robust immune system. Um, but sometimes medicines designed for other species will have adverse effects because they simply aren't compatible with my physiology.
Hmm. Um, I part of me wants to make Crystal roll something for this, but I wouldn't have a clue what.
Hmm.
I guess like just like trying to pass through all this information and figure out like there are definitely things that are standing out for me that she wants to like sort of bring up
Mm-hmm.
in more detail, but like I'm just not sure how much she's putting together, I guess.
Intelligence?
Yeah. Yeah, maybe.
That seems like a putting
Oh
things
wow.
together roll.
Oh, okay.
Let's see what she rolled. Oh, a nat 20!
Yeah.
Ah!
Uh
A nat 20 plus 5. Yes.
Ooh.
But
Um,
have at it. Have at it.
um, yeah, okay. I think because like the big thing for me is like she knows that the professor is a traveler.
Mm-hmm.
And she also knows that um for instance like Kazumi and Leo are from pretty far away on Zatori.
Yes.
Um So I think she is able to put together that wherever the professor's from is probably further than that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, or like something like that. Like not necessarily any particular direction,
Mm-hmm.
but not ruling out things like other planes, other well, I don't think she believes in other dimensions. Doesn't know whether she believes in other dimensions or
Mm-hmm.
not. But
That's
you know,
fair.
that kind of thing, like
Yeah.
um pretty pretty far off. If that sort of um stuff is unavailable. Um,
Yeah. Yeah. No,
but
she can make
the
the
other
connection
thing,
that he might not be uh of this world, or at the very least he's from some weird part of it that's very far away.
the other part that I guess, because like particularly like um well the things that she's handing me, and then I'll figure out which order I want to bring them up is
Mm.
the um did you put together this entire med bay by yourself? Um, how much of it has been through like trial and error, and how much of it has been research? And basically, because she sort of put together like from pretty far away and said he was the only one of can you go back there kind of
Mm.
those are the questions that she's got in her mind. And
Mm-hmm.
I actually might roll a d3 to see which one she brings
Sure.
up first.
Yeah. This is very good. You got a nat 20.
um yeah, okay. To which would be the trial and error one. So
Mm-hmm.
I actually think I'm gonna bundle one into the first one and just yeah. Did so this if you don't have good knowledge of uh how your own um well biology is the wrong word how to
Species.
yeah um the medical knowledge of your own species. Did you put together this place by yourself, and how much of that was through uh medical research, and how much of it was through trial and error?
Hmm. Well, I have a fair, I would say, knowledge of the biology of my own species. I did not major in it, but I did take classes. But most of this, let's see, some of it came with the machine. A lot of it I've acquired and installed myself. Some of it through research, yes. A good deal of it from trial and error, because my species doesn't get doesn't travel as much these days, and so I'm a bit of an oddity in that respect, and so records as to how we interact with other people's medicinal practices are not especially it's not especially well documented. There's not really much of it. So yeah, honestly, really just personal experience. Try something on myself, and if it hurts, try something different.
Oh god, Crystal does not like that answer. Yeah, like unfortunately though, like there's like in this case, um, oh yeah, I think maybe then that might actually lead her into asking the other question that was on her mind, which was um the now I've got to figure out how to word it.
Mm-hmm.
Just like if this is such that is I'm sure you're smart enough to know that that is an extremely dangerous way to go about that kind of thing.
Oh yes, yes.
I guess that makes me curious as to why you put yourself at such a risk then, if you
Out of necessity.
need, can you not go back to wherever you're from?
He just sort of like winces. I no, not supposedly. The exile was lifted, but I don't know which exile they lifted. They weren't very clear about that, and I actually don't really want to communicate them with very much. Really don't want to communicate very much with them to clarify, so it's probably just best that I stay away.
She's not, she does get hung up on the which exile, but it's like, nope, that's not important.
Mm-hmm.
All right, very
But
well.
the straightforward answer is for a very long time, up to a couple of years ago, the answer was a very definite no. And thus, any gestures to the med bay.
I I don't did did you want any help with it?
With what?
Uh, Medical knowledge. It's not.
Ah,
particularly my area of uh, like some of it is my area of expertise, but not all of it. But I could maybe lend you something that would help with the trial and error. You have been documenting what does and doesn't work, right?
uh, hmm. He sort of like, uh, he sort of like, um, makes a face and sort of like, does a seesaw gesture with his hand. Like, most of it I keep up here. He taps on his temple. But a good chunk of it is documented when I have the time.
Yeah, just because that one was more about the please tell me you're keeping the like notes of this for yourself kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So did little bit disapproving at the most of it up in his brain, but if he is like keeping track of that, like
Mm-hmm.
um yeah, just uh regardless, I don't my job is looking for well, patterns essentially of how to identify causes of things. I could lend you my research if you'd like, to see if the way your biology works matches up with a particular um, species or
Mm.
condition or things like that that might make the trial and error easier.
I I don't I appreciate the offer, but uh over time I've amassed such a detailed record of not only my species biology but specifically my own that I I don't I don't think I need to worry about learning anything new or anything unknown. Um, the trial and error is really just uh, well, something nobody knows until well until I try it.
Ah. The look on her face is the I am well aware of that situation. I am not particularly happy at how often I come across it.
Yeah, I
Um,
I have medical textbooks and uh, diagrams and all that stuff. Some of it actually came with the machine, but well, I mean, if anything odd happens, I'll probably ask for your help. But as for anything normal for me, it's really just uh, um, I've not really got anyone to go to but myself.
so if there was a situation where you were unable to do it yourself, there is no one to help.
Uh, if I'm alone, yes. If I'm traveling with somebody or if I'm exploring with some people, then they usually try to help. To, uh, uh, mixed results.
How many people here know about this?
Oh, let's see. Nobody knows the whole thing. They all have bits and pieces, but let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6. 7. 8, 9, 10. Maybe. Maybe a dozen people? Oh gosh.
Professor realizing just how many people know about him.
Yeah, yeah. Um, but I mean, some of them, the extent of their knowledge is that I've got 2 hearts, uh, and that I'm not human. Others know a bit more than that.
Right. I'm just trying to think of ways to mitigate adverse help in the field that would be unideal for both parties, because I imagine that not only would it be bad for you, but also fairly distressing for whoever it was who was trying to help you.
It tends to be.
Hmm. I'm a bit stumped about this. But like the thing that's coming to mind is like
Mm.
there's like medical bracelets that you can get like which say, like don't give me like penicillin sort of thing
Mm-hmm.
because I'll have an allergic reaction to it or that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So
Unfortunately,
like
what I learned about those is that you're not actually supposed to uh, listen to those because it is possible to um, abuse that system. Like, if somebody's unconscious, somebody could put a bracelet on them that says some bullshit that's not true and then keep them from getting the
uh,
care they need. Like, even if it's, yeah, like, both me and another person who's recently gone through, like, extensive, like medical officer training, that's the official stance on that, unfortunately.
yeah, that makes me very angry, honestly. But
Yeah.
that yeah. Um I think um yeah, there is kind of frustration, but like I guess the only thing that she like the only thing that is possible it seems is that he tries to have someone with him who is at least aware of his quote unquote condition,
Mm-hmm.
so that they can help provide some medical uh attention.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I think that's what she's gonna say is like I can't really see a better way for it than that. And at least you do have people who know here, so yeah, less likely to be traumatizing for some of the people here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes, well, um, there's a lot to know. I don't, I don't know that any of the people I know would. I, I, I don't, I don't know that any of them are particularly good at medicine. Even,
Oh God, the thing that Crystal just handed me was mental note. Run like first aid procedures with everyone I know like once a month to make sure that
Aw.
everyone knows what to do in an emergency situation. I was
uh,
just like, Crystal, please.
no, make them sign up for a class. You don't have to do that yourself.
Yeah.
uh,
But oh god. Um, yeah, maybe she'll be like, I am going to sign everyone up in the AI chat to do a medical emergency course
mm-hmm.
once a month. You you will all be there. Also help me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he just sort of like smiles uh and shrugs a bit and says like, well, first aid's usually fine. It's when things get worse than that that there's problems.
Mm, yeah. Yeah. I rolled a hammer space and she's pulled out her notebook and she is writing the make sure to make everyone take first aid classes being written in there.
Nice.
Uh, um and she's gonna nod and just to be fair, when it gets to that sort of situation, I don't know how many people would have the knowledge to help, regardless of alien biology or like, and she's using alien biology there as in the very technical unknown biology rather
Mm-hmm.
than like the professor is an alien. Um,
Yeah,
yeah.
I think he kind of like glances at her at that. Uh,
No, she has absolutely no idea what she said. She's just using it in the very, very technical term.
mm-hmm. uh,
Actually, maybe she'll say that like, sorry, I meant like unknown biology. It medical speak, I guess.
yes. Well, hmm. How do I put this? Uh, One of the problems I have traveling is that, well, traveling with people who mean very well, is that I really, generally speaking, should not be brought to a hospital. Uh, it's really just a bad idea to expose that many people to uh, this very interesting case study that I call the professor.
Right. Noted. I mean, that's uh on the one hand understandable, on the other hand extremely frustrating.
Mm-hmm. For example, if I were human, I could probably benefit from a blood transfusion, but can't do that. I'm the only one like this for a very great distance. And unfortunately, our our blood is not. It is difficult to preserve.
Hmm. So, and you wouldn't be able to take from another species either. That generally doesn't work very well unless there is some sort of evolutionary overlap in their past, and even then, that's not a real
Mm.
indicator of how well it will work.
Yeah, the only benefit it would have would be increasing the blood volume, which you could just do with a saline solution at that point. Um, Instead of risking the uh, cell rejection.
Yes, yes. I guess, I mean, I'm sure you've had more time to think about this, but I hate that there's nothing more that can be done.
Yes. Um, so do I, believe me. I mean, it's why I've got all this, so that, uh, even if something very bad happens, I can hopefully, uh, ideally, um, drag myself in here and, do something uh, that'll tide me over until I can recover enough to just uh, do whatever needs doing to treat myself.
I'm not a doctor, despite, I mean,
Mm-hmm. Not
my
that
field
kind.
is close, but I'm not that kind of doctor. But I still do know more than a lot of the other people we know. If you ever did need help, I'd be happy to give it.
He's sort of he hmm he's like not sure how to uh how to feel about that. Like, he appreciates the sentiment, but he's not sure if he can or should uh like accept that.
Fair enough. Look, like Crystal sort of said earlier, like on one hand, she does feel very strongly about this, and she will bully everyone she knows into trying to take care of themselves to the best of their ability, but also can't do something if someone doesn't want help. There's only
Mm-hmm.
so much you can do. So, yeah.
Yeah. Um he just sort of uh he a, after a bit he just sort of shrugs and goes like, well, I mean, if somebody's going to be if I need somebody to try something, it might as well be somebody who knows, generally speaking, what they're doing.
She's just gonna nod to that, like, and I'd rather it be me than some of the others. They don't need to see that sort of thing.
No, no, no.
Well, um, I never did finish checking. Um, you're, I'm going to assume, based on extrapolation, that your heart rate is within normal bounds for um what you've been through. Um, I should still check your blood pressure though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's just sort of for a bit, and probably while she's doing the blood pressure thing, he does sort of like sit still and like stare into the distance. And then after a bit, he goes like, "Yes, what's the word? What's the word? Heart rate is normal for the circumstance."
Yeah, she's gonna nod, and I'm just going to assume that the blood pressure reading is normal. Maybe slightly elevated, but like
Yeah, it's on the higher end, because A, two hearts, and B, blood loss. But uh, doing some fast and loose math, it's probably within a range of acceptable parameters.
yeah. I think she'll let him know that.
Mm-hmm.
Just yeah, like other than the you have lost blood, everything else seems to be going surprisingly well. Um,
Mm-hmm. Uh,
I yeah, you go.
no, he just sort of looks a bit amused, and he's like, "Well, we're meant to be resilient, fast healers."
I'd say it's lucky given your occupation and circumstances, but
Mm-hmm.
she's gonna pause for a little bit and just yeah, I think after a while she's gonna ask just, and how are you holding up? Well, mentally, I guess.
Hmm. Uh, I think he sort of like looks off towards the wall, and twiddles his thumbs, and he's like, well, I did not like that experience. Um, well, I suppose if I'm being honest, it keeps replaying in my head, and I keep thinking about the worst case scenario that very nearly happened.
There's sort of like a sharp breath, like a she doesn't want to think about that because she knows that like not only was the professor there, but also like
Oh, yeah.
Camille was,
Mm-hmm.
um and um
Airy and
Azumi,
Tone
and
and Azumi.
yeah,
Yeah.
she doesn't know Eri, but she has met all of the others, so
Mm-hmm.
eh, doesn't like doesn't like that.
Yeah, it's a bad scene.
Just the I can imagine. I just hope it gets better with time.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure it will. He does, and you don't have nearly as high as a insight as like the detectives and stuff, but like, he does seem just sort of like uh tired, which is unsurprising, and just a little agitated and and a little, not as much, I want to say, not high strung, like energetic, but like on edge a little bit.
Mm, yeah, yeah.
Even though
Ah,
he's
God.
even though he's like acting fairly casual, some of that's deception, some of it's just being sort of blasé about things.
Yeah, that's actually sort of so Crystal's not great with words and she's not great at comforting people.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think she's really going to try, but
Yeah.
it is curious to her because like again, Professor has made no has not hid the fact that he's a an adventurer
Mm-hmm.
and has been in dangerous situations before and has pretty much brushed them off all those times as like without much of a
Not much of a
uh
reaction.
yeah.
As a matter of fact, from TOC's account of the incident with the dragon from uh, what was it? Uh, what was that one called? Back to
Order
the
of the Pink
beginning.
Dragon
Order of the
or something like that.
Order of the Pink something. Um,
Pink. I want to say like Lotus, but I don't think that's it.
no, no. Um, but yeah, that one. TOC's account of that ended with like, you know, even though Professor did this like very stupid thing, he brushed it off and said he's fine and like practically like pranced out of the place, like just very upbeat after fighting a
Yeah,
dragon.
yeah. Yeah, so I think she is going to take a couple more moments and the this seems to be rattling you more than usual.
Hmm. Uh. Huh. Ah, yes, I suppose. Um. You could say. Uh. Well. I guess the. Uh. Simplest. The. Simplest, if slightly misleading way to put it, is that I have a phobia of vampires. Um, the long version is more of a ancient blood feud going back eons, and the fact that they seem to prefer our blood over others.
Huh.
Go out of their way to hunt us.
Fantastic.
Yes.
To be honest, I'm actually surprised you're holding up this well then.
Hmm.
But then again, not my area of expertise. I very bad at reading people. So for all I know, you are actually dealing with it a lot worse than I can see, and I would have no clue.
Well, thankfully, I think the detectives will suss me out sooner or later.
Good. Yes. sounds like you need someone to keep you honest.
Mm-hmm.
um, yeah, I think she's just gonna. I I'm glad you're alright though, and all of the others.
Yes, yes. I'm extremely glad that it went the way that it did. Honestly, close to the best case scenario. As maybe crass as that sounds, uh, considering what did happen, but really, it could have been a lot worse.
I suppose we should be grateful for small mercies then.
Yes, yes.
Well, I don't think that there's a huge amount more I can do, though.
Oh,
Give me a moment, and I'm gonna roll hammer space again so you can keep going.
oh, he was just going to say, like, would you, uh, redo this? It's not, um, we didn't do a particularly neat job.
Right.
It's
Yes, I
hard,
can do that.
yes. And as many times as I've had to do such things in a mirror, it doesn't. My arms simply don't bend in certain ways.
Yes, real kind. I Well, to be honest, tunes do vary too. Rubber hose will generally have absolutely no issue with it, whereas a lot of Frankenol and even some UPNs tend to struggle with that a lot more. Yes, I can deal with that. I might roll another medicine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
That is.
God, I love having high modifiers sometimes.
Yeah, high modifiers are fun. So that is a 17. Um, yeah, it's behaving like a normal sort of real kind wound would, except like maybe it seems a little uh further along than your average humanoid healing wise.
Mm,
Like especially you can tell how much time has passed on a humanoid by the color of the bruises pretty well. Uh, his have gone fairly
mm,
fast into different colors, and I think just as it's agitated and like he fell down before, like it's probably just like seeping a little bit of blood because hello, deep puncture wound. And
yeah.
it is a red orange color. It could be mistaken
Mm,
as the proper deep red of a human from afar or at a quick glance, but that's definitely not human blood. It's got a distinct orange tinge to it.
yeah. Yeah. I that well, she's not going to comment on that because already discussed the fact that it's
Yep.
that Professor is not in fact human.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, she'll probably like reapply like um some, like re-clean the wound, antiseptic, that kind of thing, and then
Yeah.
just like bandage it up.
Mm-hmm.
And definitely not something that she does all that commonly, but still, like she has worked in this sort of industry like long enough to be able to do the basics. She's definitely taken more than one first aid course.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. No. Even though she's usually on the research side of things, she would definitely have training for this business.
Yeah, yeah. Um, and I did roll hammer space before because she wanted to pull something out.
Ooh.
And I rolled a 1. So
Oh no! Roll again.
so I get to roll her fumble chart.
Yes! Ooh, what is in Crystal's fumble chart?
Oh,
Probably lots
okay.
of
19.
books.
Yeah, it's a running joke, but she doesn't actually have all books in there
Hmm.
because what she pulls out with a 19 is actually a large binder full of piano music,
Oh.
which she's gonna shove back into her hammer space. That's not it.
Hmm. Do you play?
Uh, a little. I stopped for a while,
Hmm.
but I've been picking up again recently.
Lovely.
Oh, that's definitely not high enough. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
More fumbling.
Hey.
Uh, 16. A book called Magical Maladies and Mystical Mayhems.
Mm-hmm. Well,
All right,
that
put
looks
that
fun.
back in. Yep. All right, that's high enough. This time she does pull out the thing and she's gonna ask it's a little like a little container with like pills in it.
Mm-hmm.
Um and just so quick question. How do antibiotics work in your system?
Uh, Depends. Um, Sometimes they just don't. Sometimes they work exactly as intended. Uh,
All right. Well, okay then.
I mean,
These are
if it's got the components in it, I can probably at least make a guess at uh, what it'll do to me.
yeah, I can hold on, and she's gonna pull out like a basically a document that's like got all of it, and it's like these are sort of specialized to help with recovering from vampire bites. So it's got iron
Hmm.
supplements, some antibiotics, and low level dosage of lesser restoration, just things to help kick your immune system back into hopefully working well. I'd say um, a week. If you're having adverse effects to them, probably stop.
Mm-hmm.
If the wound seems to discolor or get worse or isn't healing properly, definitely. Um, well, I suppose you can't go to hospital. Definitely let me know. I can come back and we can figure out what's wrong.
Right.
Yeah, that's all I can do.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
He'll sort of skim over the list and looks like, oh, oh, this looks fine actually.
Yeah, it's literally just a like a mild sort of this should just help with a bit of everything kind of thing.
Yeah.
Um yeah. She's rambling a little bit about the amount of paperwork she had to go through in order to get them. And you know, like there should be enough there for Camille if he needs them.
Mm-hmm.
Something about I need to track Airy down. I have no idea where to find him.
Yeah,
That kind of thing.
he'll offer up that he's pretty sure that uh, at least Tome knows where he is, and Leo probably does. Tome knows where he's staying. Honestly, any of the detectives
Yeah,
could find out where he's staying. That's their job.
yeah, yeah. I think she's like, well, I guess I'll stop in at the Painted Lady on the way home. Ask Leo to pass on a message then to let him know that if he needs his bite looked at, that I can do that.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Crystal.
Uh, I would say no problem, but you guys end up causing me many, many problems. I swear the amount of work I've had since I have met you all in the last, God, it has been over a year. Oh, wow. Has been, like tripled the amount of work I have, but I guess it's also been nice.
Hmm. It's interesting, isn't it? It's intriguing
That's
work.
definitely one word for it. It is very different from what I'm used to.
Mm-hmm.
Terrifies me, honestly, sometimes, but I
Mm.
also wouldn't want to go back to how it was before either.
Sure, sure. Sometimes it's nice to try something new, and even if it's frightening, it can also be very exciting and rewarding.
Hmm. Yeah. I'll let you know if I feel that way in the future, but don't hold your breath.
All right, all right. I'll show you to the door then,
Yes.
and I'll just get up
Yes.
slowly this time.
Yes, please do. I do not have the strength to help you up. It's honestly pretty atrocious.
That's quite all right. And yeah, so he'll do that.
I I I think she will like look again at the inside of the ellipsis as she goes. Like she's obviously very fascinated with it.
If there's anything she wants to ask about the med bay or the ellipsis as a whole, you're welcome to.
Yeah, I think now that she's sort of done what she's come here for, she will
Yeah.
just sort of um so where did you come by this machine? It's honestly more than anything I've seen, even in Toonkind, let alone real kind
Mm.
feats.
Yes, well, my species, uh, makes machines like this, and, this particular one, I, uh, absconded with when I was first exiled.
Uh, I don't want to know, do I?
I mean, it's as simple as that.
Hmm, that's incredible. Um, you're from very far away from here, aren't you? And I'm not just meaning Inkwell.
Yes, I'm, uh, very, uh, very far from, what I used to call home.
Oh God, she just handed me. Okay, sure. She's just gonna look and do you miss it?
Hmm. Sometimes certain things about it, uh, little details, but hmm, I don't miss the people, so I don't mind staying
Yeah.
away.
Hmm. I believe I've heard something along the lines of home being with the people you love, so
Yes.
I guess that's not too surprising.
Hmm. Yes, there's nothing left there for me.
Well, I'm sorry about that, but glad that you seem to have found something that makes you happier.
Yes, I have.
Hmm. Well, I am, I'll be honest, very curious about the makeup of how this space works. I do not think we have time right now for it, but um, would you mind if I asked you some questions another time about it?
No, I think that would be nice. Oh, she's, called the Ellipsis, by the way.
Ah, she. Is it sort of like a genus loci?
Uh, sort of, except, mobile, mostly by way of teleportation.
Huh. Interesting. That's fascinating. I'm half tempted.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's sort of like niggling at her a little bit, like, huh. Um, but not I'm gonna say she doesn't put the pieces of that
Mm-hmm.
together.
Yeah.
Hmm. Though I do think she's gonna say that I've not heard of many devices that have the ability to teleport such large spaces.
Ah, no, it's, eh, hmm. Extremely advanced. It's really one of the, uh, pinnacles of our, society's advancements, honestly.
Hmm. Well, I'm definitely not one for engineering, and even my interest is piqued. I can only imagine the how much of a field day my dad and my aunt would have in here.
Ooh. Hmm.
I'll be sure to make sure they don't have the opportunity to run amok in here.
Yes.
There's there's actually an expression on her face at the moment like she's not particularly happy with them right now, but there's sort of a bit of a fond exasperation.
Mm-hmm.
Uh
Hmm.
God. Yeah, that's all I can think of.
Yeah. Well,
But yeah.
yeah. All right. I think that's about it. Uh, she's gonna go see who else she can uh try to treat.
Yeah, yeah. Go check in on Leo, see if he's actually booked a doctor's appointment yet. To see about
Mm.
um his God, I'm completely inspiration
Ah,
deficiency.
yes.
Um, which I'm pretty sure Marzi has said he hasn't, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's just an ongoing gag, I guess, at this point.
Yeah, he needs a
Get the information
reminder.
straight and yeah, and then go bully the people in the chat by telling them she's signed them all up for a compulsory first aid course.
Uh-huh. Oh, good. Perfect. Uh,
Good fun.
yeah. Okay. Uh, that will do it for us, today. Uh,
Yep.
for the FPS Two Hearts and No Brain. Um, thank you for playing with
It
me,
was
Candle.
fun.
This was very fun. Um,
It went surprisingly well.
yeah, yeah. Um, and we thank you all for listening, audience in the present and in the future, and wish you all a good time zone. Bye.